So Sumisan is building an ecosystem solution. There are lots of challenges in the real estate market: transparency, trust, scams, frauds, unverified listings, and all of that. So Sumisan is building an ecosystem of infrastructure to help that entire challenges. Yesterday, I took a client to inspect a property along Idu, and this particular agent, we went there. On getting there, what the agent did was he told us he was coming, that he wanted to call somebody else. We waited, and at last when I called him, we went there. We found him where he was drinking alcohol. We found him where he was drinking.
An agent?
Yes, I mean this is one of the things we see in the market. Another thing we saw in the market was I also tried to call another agent to take us for an inspection for a particular property. She said that property was available. On calling that agent, she refused to pick up for like 5-6 hours after we had booked an appointment with the client. She refused to pick the call and all of that. When she finally picked the call, she told us the house was no longer available. But that is why, with all of this happening, that is why we are building the agent network system, where we train agents, we take them to scout properties, so we are aware of what they are doing, and then we train them on customer relation, we train them on different skill set that will enable them, render professional customer service to clients. Last year when we were looking for a house for one of our clients, can you imagine, somewhere around a 4-bedroom fully detached duplex was still renting for 3 million naira. I'm telling you, in Abuja here, in the city of Abuja, someone was still renting a 4-bedroom fully detached with BQ for 3.
Only in the compound?
Yes, only in the compound for as low as 3 million naira. Why? Because she was not informed. Now that property in that same location, other properties in that same locations are going for as high as 11 to 12 million naira. But she was not informed. She was still giving her own out at old prices. 3 million naira for such property. You can never find that in Alabama. That may have been old price like 2020, 2021. But for 2026, 2025, 2026, you can't find that price anywhere within the city. So there's a property that we currently listed as for over 600 million. And we went there, I know the seller, I know the man who is selling it, and the man is selling it 600 million. And there's another agent, I found that in a group, listing that same property for less than 300 million.
That's almost...
I'm telling you, half. So when I asked that particular agent, who gave you this property? He said a friend forwarded it to him. Whose friend? He said in a group. You see now what's going on. So yes, unverified listing, that's what I'm saying. So if a client gets interested in that particular property and he is being asked to take that client there, by the time he takes the client there, he will not be hearing that the price is 600 million. Why? Because he himself is not well knowledgeable enough to verify the property and its listing. And that's why in our agent network system, we train agents that any property you want to list, verify it. Preferably, if you want to go scout it out. If you're not the one, if your friend is sending it to you, verify it before you post or list that property.
Hello, welcome to another series of Everything Real Estate, where we talk about real estate, finance, and investments. With us here once again, we have the founder and CEO of Sumisan Technologies, Mr. Sanusi Dima. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. On today's topic, we want you to address some issues in the real estate industry. Okay, sir. There's been issues and concerns about agents. They said in the new scope right now, whatsoever, they will show you a house and tell you this house
I mean, this is one of the things you see in the market. Another thing we saw in the market was I also tried to call another agent to take us for an inspection for a particular property. She said that property was available. On calling that agent, she refused to pick up for like 5-6 hours after we have booked an appointment with the client. She refused to pick the call and all of that. When she finally picked the call, she told us the house was no longer available. So it's like a scope that a lot of them are using currently. And for that, what happened to that lady, I believe that, like I said, is a scope. So they would have found out, a particular agent would have found out that if I listed this house for like 15 million, no client will come to inspect it.
Okay, sir. Before you continue, I want to ask: is it the agent's call to put the price they want to on the particular house?
It is not the agent's call, but I'm going somewhere, like I said. The landlord may have put that price for 15 million.
Okay.
But the agents themselves, they want to put a price where they can draw the attention of clients. And that is where they don't know that that is not good.
Okay.
Right? They don't know that that is not good.
Okay.
It may have worked once for a certain client, but it doesn't mean that that will work for every client.
Is it possible that, because it worked for one client, that there are people that are encouraging that behavior from those agents?
Well, the people encouraging the behavior from the agents are those patronizing the agents. When you see such agents, never patronize them, never recommend them to your friends. Immediately tag them scam agents, and there are a lot of agents that are doing things that are not good. Okay, so but that is why, with all of this happening, that is why we are building the agent network system, where we train agents, we take them to scout properties, so we are aware of what they are doing, and then we train them on customer relation, we train them on different skill set that will enable them, render professional customer service to clients. Now let's go back to what happened to the lady. So, like I said, it's it may be that those agents lack knowledge, all right? So, and it may also be that it's a scope. They put out a fake price. They list the property below the actual price to draw the attention of clients. So when client gets to them, they'll start telling that client that the property has risen. Now that is one. Now, secondly, obviously, for it to have repeated itself, it means that it was a scope. But let me still give the second point all the same. Secondly, it is possible that the landlord increased the price.
Really?
It is possible. I'm not saying that was what happened, but like I said, the first one is what would most likely have happened, where they now find this as a trend, a scope, to give out lower price and then draw the attention of clients. And then when the client answer they're interested to go there, they'll not put the price normal. But like I said, secondly, it is possible that some landlords are not informed. So they can list a particular property out at a certain time, and then when you now want to go there with your clients, they will now tell you that they have changed the price. Maybe because they've heard one or two of their friends telling them that this particular property is no longer being rented for this amount in this certain area. I'll give you an example. Last year, when we were looking for a house for one of our clients, can you imagine somewhere around Galadima, a 4 bedroom, fully detached duplex was still renting for 3 million naira. I'm telling you, in Abuja here, in the city of Abuja, someone was still renting a 4 bedroom, fully detached with BQ for three.
Only in the compound?
Yes, only in the compound for as low as 3 million naira. Why? Because she was not informed. Now that property in that same location, other properties in that same locations are going for as high as 12, 11 to 12 million naira. But she was not informed. She was still giving her own out at old prices, 3 million naira for such property. You can never find that in Galadima. That may have been old price like 2020, 2021. But for 2026, 2025, 2026, you can't find that price anywhere within the city center. So for instance, as an example, like say some landlords were not informed or are not informed. So if in that case, the landlord is now informed and increase his price, by the time the agent is taking that client to that place, the landlord has increased price. So that is two. Like, I'm still coming. I want to list other factors. Another factor is the fact that the agent network, the agent's current network, there's too many kiosks, too many too many lies, too many, it's really lack of knowledge, but proper information, there's lagging of proper information, that's the word. There's no proper information being passed. Like there's a property that we currently listed out for over 600 million. And we went there, I know the seller, I know the man who is selling it, and the man is selling it 600 million. And there's another agent, I found that in a group, listing that same property for less than 300 million.
That's almost.
I'm telling you how. So when I asked that particular agent, who gave you this property? He said a friend forwarded it to him. Whose friend? He said in a group.
Oh.
You see now what's going on.
Verified
So
listing.
yes, no verified listing, that's what I'm saying. So if a client gets interested in that particular property and he is being asked to take that client there, by the time he take the client there, he will not be hearing that the price is 600 million. Why? Because he himself is not well knowledgeable enough to verify the property he's listing. And that's why in our agent network system, we train agents that any property you want to list, verify it. Preferably be the one to go scout it out. If you're not the one, if your friend is sending it to you, verify it before you post or list that property. So these are some of the problems that, or some of the factors that would have caused what happened to that particular lady in Lagos.
Okay, so it's possible that on the side of the landlord, maybe he genuinely increased it.
Yeah.
And then, would you say that, okay, what is happening with the landlord, the agent, and the person renting is greed? Are there issues whereby, a landlord lists a particular property? Because you can't tell me that he listed it and then later on he's changing his mind. That is inconsistency. It's looking more like a greedy landlord. So what's the guarantee that if that person rents that house and enters the house, that the person won't be hearing increase on different particular kind of things? So between the landlord's greed and the agent's knowledge, agents that are not knowledgeable to verify listings, they just see things and post. How do we bridge that gap? Because at the end of the day, it's affecting people. Looking for a house is frustrating in Abuja. It's even more frustrating in Lagos. Like to get a house in Lagos these days, it's not like there are no house, but it's just frustrating because there's a greedy landlord somewhere. Probably there is agents too that are greedy or agents that are not knowledgeable. So sir, how do we really bridge this gap between the landlord, the agent, and the person renting the apartment?
Like the client.
Yeah, the client.
So there are three people in this chain,
Yes.
right? The client, that's the tenant that wants to rent, the agent, or maybe slash the management, and then the owner of the property, who is the landlord. Like I said, landlords sometimes, okay, are not also informed on how to increase property rents. You don't wake up every year and increase rents. I mean, as in the tenancy law, you don't just every now and then that you wake up, you just want to keep increasing.
So there's a law, meaning that some of those houses don't even have lawyers.
No, they don't. So you don't just wake up every now and then that you can increase the house rent because you need money. But it is very necessary to also increase the rent of a house after some period of years. Do you get? But that must also be stated inside the agreement letter or the agreement form between the landlords and the tenants. Because if the landlord also do not increase their rent, how will they have money to match up with the investment they have made? They wouldn't. So there's a need to increase their rents. Are you understanding? There's a need to increase the price of the rent because also inflation is eating into the economy. So they need to stay above the inflation by increasing their rent to match what they have invested. Like there's a popular saying that we all know, real estate is the edge against inflation. You know what edge means? Support. So when inflation wants to eat into your wealth and investments, real estate is there to support it and make sure that inflation doesn't eat into your wealth and investments. So real estate will be blocking the inflation. And how it blocks the inflation is to make sure that the prices of real estate also go up above inflation. They get so on the landlord side, the landlord is supposed to increase, but only at the appropriate time.
Yes, not after the person must have come.
No. Not every now and then you wake up and want to increase price. You don't do that. So also now let's come to the agent side. For the agents, all agents one way to solve this industry, to solve this problem, is by training agents. Lots of agents are not trained. Someone just wake up anyhow. Someone just wake up in the morning, and because the market is a free market, you don't need money to start. So they just wake up and then they want to get into the agency market, and they start, joining different groups, picking people's property and be marketing. I've even seen where people in Lagos are marketing properties in Sokoto, in Kaduna, in Kano, the places they have never been. So
And
how
they don't even know
they don't
streets and all
know
that.
there. So I'm telling you, so how can you be in Lagos? You live in Lagos, you are marketing properties in Sokoto, you are marketing properties. How do you know the properties you are marketing? Do you even know if that property is verified, if it's genuine or that? So these are some of the laggings we have when it comes to the agency market. I've seen some people also in Abuja here marketing properties in Delta, marketing properties in Borno, marketing properties. I'm telling you, I've seen in groups, they'll be posting properties in different locations. And when you ask them, can you deliver this property? They'll tell you yes.
And most likely they've never closed any of
They've
these
never
deals.
closed. It is, we can't, like I said, this lack of knowledge, all right? And some of them stayed in that position for a very long time. And that's why we are building. You see, I keep repeating that we are building agent network system where we train them. We give them this proper knowledge. Don't be in Sokoto and be marketing property in Lagos, especially the one you've not been to, especially the one that is not verified. Don't do that. So the agent markets need a lot of knowledge. That's how to mitigate this and how to solve this.
Okay.
Also for the tenants, okay, I always encourage for a tenant, don't go to look for a property where you know that you can't afford that property at least 3x in a year. Let me explain. If let's say a property is 15 million naira, okay, if you know that the following year, if that property increased to 30 million, you'll not be able to pay. So why are you going to that property in the first place? You should look for a property where you know that even if that property increases over 200%, you'll be able to still afford it. In fact, that is financial wisdom. Don't go to rent a property where you know that in the following year, if the price increase, you'll not be able to meet up. Because also, you see, we must understand from the landlord's part, investment part, right? Because the landlord is an investor. We must understand from his part. The normal cap for every landlord to make from their property is within 5 to 10%. Now, imagine you invested, let's say, 500 million naira in a property. A property that would be like places like Oye in Abuja, 500 million naira for a 5-bedroom fully detached. And then you are renting that out. If you are renting that 5-bedroom fully detached house, it will be like maybe 30 million.
Okay. So how many
That's
years will
30
that take
million.
for him
So
to get his return of investment?
very good. So how many years, how long do you think it's going to take for him to get his return on investment? Now, 30 million, that's about let's say 7% or 6% something percent of his investment. So how long will he gather 30 million? I know that the property value is also increasing, but you see, cash is king. You need money to live. You need money, ability for you to be able to turn your investment quickly over. That's why we have turnover. To turn your investment quickly over is what will actually help you build wealth faster. So we can understand from the landlord's part as an investor. Well, at the same time, we should also understand from the tenants part, who are the clients.
Exactly.
You understand? So, and that's why I say the regulators in the industry need to come in, technology needs to come in, we need to come in from what we are doing. We are building technology to help the ecosystem. We're also building educational arm to help the ecosystem. All of these parties, we need them to help the real estate markets in Nigeria, in Africa, and the world, I think, at large.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Just just a little bit.
Okay.
You don't have to say too much, but can you give us an insight into what Sumisan is doing to to help this situation? Because apparently from your explanation, it seems more like the fluctuations in prices is based is focused more on the economy. The economy is the issue. The economy is the reason why the fluctuations happen, and people are trying to create a balance. The person that is renting, that's the client, is struggling to actually
meet up.
Exactly. Then the landlord that invested is also struggling so that he can get his return of investment as quick as possible. So you already stated the root cause of these issues is mainly the economy. But can you just give us an insight into what Sumisan is doing, to help clients, to help the landlord and to help the agent, so that we'll not be experiencing this situation whereby someone is in Lagos listing house in Sokoto, or there are so many chains of agents to a particular house. Then when you now get to where is the house? They can't even find the house. That kind of situation.
Yes.
Can you just give us an insight into what Sumisan is doing to help this situation?
Thank you. So Sumisan is building an ecosystem.
Okay.
Solution. There are lots of challenges in the real estate market: transparency, trust, scams, frauds, unverified listings, and all of that. So Sumisan is building an ecosystem of infrastructure to help that entire challenges. But first, let's talk about what you have just said. You see, for what is going on in the economy, if the landlord increase house rents, inflation is what? General increase of goods and services. So if price of goods increase, price of services increase. Obviously, materials to build house and the price of the services, workmanship will be expensive. So the landlord also needs to increase his own price so that it will match that. You see now, as the landlord increases price, if that is how the tenants, if they are employees or if they are employers, if that is how they will also increase price. If they are employees, if their salaries will be increased as well, it will at least match up with what they were paying before. I'll give you an example.
That's true.
Do you understand?
Yes.
If for instance I have an apartment and I'm renting it out for 3 million naira, and you are working somewhere, and currently where you are working you earn 500,000 naira monthly, okay, and you don't have issue paying 3 million naira, okay. Now imagine if I increase my house rent from 3 million to 5 million, and your salary is still at the same position of 500,000 naira. That's going to be a problem. But if your workplace increase your salary to 1 million, it means that you won't have issue paying that 5 million. Same way, you will ask, how will your workplace get money? The products that they are selling
has increased in price.
If they increase it in price, because most definitely their products has increased in price. It's just that their products increase in price, but they refuse to increase the price, the pay or the salary of their staffs.
Yes, and these are most challenges that workers face
a lot
in the country.
A lot. So now let's go. You understand now? So let's go back to Sumisan. So Sumisan is building infrastructure to help all of this in the real estate. Now, number one for landlord, as an investor, the first thing you must consider always is funds, cash, liquidity. You must always have liquid, which is money, okay? And in that's your fund that you have, you don't necessarily have to use your entire liquidity to build the property you need. So because of a lot of investors are not informed, or a lot of landlords are not informed, so our educational arm is going to teach them that. And from the government, we know that as regulators come up, the government try their best, they'll be able to provide credit, which will help mortgages, which will also help the landlords to be able to have access to mortgage. And that's one of the things we're also building our ecosystem, where we give the opportunity to have access to mortgage. So in things like that, you don't use your entire money to build the house. You take a loan, you finance that house, and let the house rent pay back that debt. And I'll give you an example. Say I have, between you and I, we are both investors. We want to go into long-term rentals. I want to be landlord, you want to be landlady. And then we both have 100 million naira each. You take your 100 million, you build a, let's say, 4-bedroom semi-detached duplex, and you are renting it out every year for 6 million naira. That's how much? 6% return on investment, 6% rental income coming to you every year. Now I take my own 100 million. I have access to mortgage, and then I make a deposit. I also want to get a 4-bedroom semi-detached for the same amount of 100 million. Do you see now? Now I take my 100 million, I can divide it into 5 places. I take 20 million, acquire one, and tell mortgage to finance the remaining 80%. You see now, I do that in 5 places. Now, if I do that in 5 places, automatically I have how many properties? 5 properties. You still have 1. I have 5 now. So if each of those properties are paying me 6 million naira a month yearly, okay, they are paying me 6 million naira yearly. Now 6 million multiplied by 5 places, what do you have? You have 30 million naira. You are earning 6 million. My property is giving me how much? 30 million. In the 30 million, say I am paying 20 million to the mortgage that I borrowed from. I am left with how much? 10 million. You are earning 6 million. Now, over the long term period, say 15 to 20 years, I would have been done paying that mortgage.
Yeah.
When I'm done paying that mortgage, the entire property belongs to me. You still have 1 property, and now I have 5 properties. You see, so if landlords or investors have access to mortgage, which government can also help, but what we are building is we are building a platform that can give people easy access to credit, easy access to mortgage, to finance their projects. If we have that, and we teach these landlords and teach investors, a lot of them, you see, we have funds to build their home, and then they will not increase price or house rent anyhow. They just like, because a lot of them are considering what they have invested. I've invested 100 million, I've invested 200 million, how will this go? You know, all of those stuff. But if they know that, well, I invested 20 million and the mortgage financed it and all of that, they won't just wake up angrily and be increasing prices like that.
Yes.
So that's one way. And for the agent market, that's why we are building agent network system where we are training these agents.
Very important.
We don't just leave them by training them. We give them access to list their properties. Once they go out to scouts, access to list their properties on our platform for free. They list their properties on our platform for free. The only thing is that by the time that transaction is completed, we have our own commission from inside. So, but we train them and give them access to list their property on our platforms for free. So if we do that, then we'll be able to solve the agency market in rental properties and in real estate at large. And to talk about the tenants who are the clients, then they need to learn finance. You see, they need to learn financial management. You should not, like we said in some of our podcasts before, if you are earning 500,000 naira per month in a year, that is 6 million naira. You don't have any business going to rent a house of 3 million as usual, because you are chopping into like 50% of your income in a year just for rental. And don't forget, you have other expenses. So if tenants are aware of all these things, it will help. And another thing we're building for Sumisan is also to help everybody, not just tenants, but tenants, agents, landlords, whoever, anybody, to have access to real estate investments with the little they have. So this way it's even good. So it is possible to be living in a house and that house is still paying you money.
Wow.
I'm telling you, that's one of the things we're also building in Sumisan. In our ecosystem, we have a lot of things we are building to help the entire real estate market. So it is possible to live in a house. As you are paying the landlord is paying you too, because that particular property will also pay you. So you can co-own properties with developers, co-own properties with landlords, co-own properties with investors. So as you are paying investor, the investor is paying you back. This and also these are many more, are the opportunities that Sumisan and the solution that Sumisan is bringing to the real estate market.
Wow. This is like, really, really, really good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Sumisan's goal is to make the landlords, the agents, and the clients happy.
Yes, they all need to be
Everybody
happy.
is going to be happy thanks to your innovation. Okay, sir. Thank you so much for the insights.
Thank you.
Thank you for the they're like throwing more light and letting us know that this problem is not permanent.
Yes.
There's a solution, and Sumisan is building solutions for the issues arising in the real estate market. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the innovation. And this is a sign for you to look out for Sumisan and the product of Sumisan. If you're not following Sumisan, you should go to the social media pages. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on WhatsApp. Look out for Sumisan, follow Sumisan so that you'll be up to date. Look out for our products so that you'll be up to date.
So make sure you look out for Sumisan, check our page, check our website, join our channels, join us, come to learn. If you're an agent, this is an opportunity for you to join our agents network system where you get to learn how to do your agency business properly in the real estate market. If you're a tenant, join. This is where you can find verified listing. We go out to scout properties. We have agents that also go out to scout properties in Abuja. We are currently extending to Lagos and the other parts of Nigeria. So join this community and refer your friends, refer your families, let them join. So that searching and looking for a house in Abuja or anywhere in Nigeria will be very, very easy for them.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Thank you for staying with us up until now. See you same time next week.
Bye.